What's going on, YouTube? You're back with Shades, and I just went through a really, really, really long sex scene. It wasn't really that long. I was speed reading through it just to make sure that none of the content I was missing, was important. None of it was, but a quick recap. So they started doing the do, and like I think she finished once, she orgasmed once, and then they took a break because I didn't think Heechan finished. Don't think Heesao finished yet because in sex when the guy finishes he's typically done. but so one thing that was important that Heesao asked during their little break was is the door locked, and lo and behold, it wasn't. And so she locked the door, and she's like, "We're safe." And I'm just like, "No, you're not. You weren't." Because, I'm pretty sure the door has a window. But yeah, so then they continued. He finished, and then they stopped. But he said at the end was like, "What's Misha doing?" And she was like, "Go look for yourself. Seeing is believing, blah, blah, blah." And that was it. That is literally the recap. Once again, sex scenes don't do anything. I've said before that gay visual novels that cater more to men, typically the goal is sex. And this is probably the most positive one that I've seen that has sex and also allows for emotional development for both characters involved. And I'm just like, that's great, but I just wish that the end goal would just be a healthy relationship, not physical carnal desires and the feeding of the desire. I forget the phrase. But yeah, I just wish it was more than that. But once again, this game isn't bad. It's honestly not. It's well written, and the sex scenes are tastefully put in. It's just I want more visual novels like this, where the guy is just a guy talking to girls. Excuse me. And having a good time. I just wish it was more of that. But what are you gonna do? The visual novel, genre caters a lot to women in the wrong way and to men the wrong way. What about me? What about the guy who just enjoys having a nice conversation with girls? What about that, huh? Also, I've been watching Nisekoi recently, and I'm just it's such a bad. The writing is so bad. It's so cliche and overdone, but I can't help but watch it. I hate that about myself, where I can't help but watch a series because it's cute to me. Ugh, I hate it. But anyway, I'm going to continue reading now. For a moment after I leave the room, I actually do consider seeing what Misha is up to, just because she's name made it sound so secretive, as she were building a time machine or something, but I decided in the end not to. The night air is so pleasant at this time of year. It's refreshing and a little humid, but not so chilly to make it uncomfortable to stay outside for a while. It's late enough for the courtyard to be all but deserted, too. After Shizna and I said our farewells to each other, I set out to return to my dormitory room. I didn't even make it all the way there, though, before getting distracted. It doesn't seem like a bad idea to go see what Misha's up to. I have nothing better to do, no homework. I'm out of anything worth reading. On top of that, I simply want to know. This isn't my first time being in the main building after hours, but usually it's as I'm leaving the place with Shizna and Misha after a long day at student council, not entering it alone. Sorry about that, guys. Taking a deep breath to still my tone, my speed, my pace. The atmosphere is quiet, a word I would not normally use to describe these halls. It's a little creepy. A light starts flickering up ahead. This seems like a horror movie moment waiting to happen. Yeah, I can totally agree with that. So my college campus doesn't lock its doors at night, which is weird. Well, it locks the classroom doors and the office doors, but doesn't lock the main entrance doors because the students who live on campus could use them to travel through campus. You can go through the campus in one long hallway. Well, not one hallway. It's 3 or 4 hallways, but they're all interconnected. So the main entrances aren't locked, but the classroom doors are locked. So I've walked through the halls at night, usually typically during winter, because it's cold. So I like to stay warm as a normal warm-blooded human being who enjoys not having frostbite. But the thing is, when you're walking through the halls at night, it's honestly I'm just there's no one here because everyone's in their rooms or at home, and there's no staff here except for the janitors, but they're few and far between at night, and I'm just if you really wanted to, you could record a horror movie in these halls and it would be fitting. But I'm pretty sure you need permission for that. But like, I'm just like, you could do it, especially certain of the some of the older hallways because they're in the middle of like updating the buildings. So I'm just like, in the older hallways, you could definitely do that. Even some of the newer hallways, you could do that because they're so sterile. Anyway, feeling a hand on my shoulder, I stiffen reflexively. It's not Misha, or else there would be hands clamped over my eyes and a sing-song Guess Who accompanying them. So who is it? I hope it's not Kenji, or at least it's someone I know, or this will take a turn for the weird. Oh. Hi, honey. Ooh, oh, honey, honey. Why did I sing that song? You are my candy girl? I need to sing those lyrics like super awkwardly. Whoever it is quickly slips in front of me. It's Shizune. What are you doing here? I'm so relieved that I forgot to sign it. Shizune puts her finger up to her lips. I can guess even though she can't hear, she has some idea of what loudness is. And I can tell from my expression that I was being loud, and apparently being loud isn't a good thing right now. But then why is Misha her interpreter? Oh, very funny. Why are you here? I was waiting for you to come see. I knew you would show up. It took you a while, though. You've been waiting here? Yes, but that isn't important. We have to be stealthy if we don't want Misha to detect us. Tell me if I'm not being stealthy enough, okay? With that, she starts slowly tiptoeing through the middle of the hall. I pat her on the shoulder to get her attention. That's not stealthy. Why do I have to be stealthy? She refuses to answer because probably signing and walking stealthily at the same time doesn't look easy. This is weird. Why do we have to be stealthy? Maybe Misha is on a secret rendezvous with another woman. That'd be cool. Like, I honestly want Misha to be a bit happy with how this game ends because I'm not sure if she still likes Shizune. I think she's slowly drifting away. But, yeah. I kind of want her to have a happy ending, too. Not that kind of happy ending, but a happy ending nonetheless. Before I know it, we're in front of our homeroom. Suddenly, a sound like a crack of a whip pierces the air, followed by a familiar expression of frustration. I'm sure a sound like that isn't good for my heart, not to mention everything sounds about 1,000,000 times louder with how silent it is. It's coming from inside the room, and I sidle up to Shizune to get a look inside. Oh. Muto. I guess he's tutoring Misha? That's cool. That's cute. But yeah, like, I think I've never said this before, but like, on college campuses, if you wanted to be like, you know, adventurous, I'm pretty sure if like you dodge like, if you dodge janitorial staff, I'm pretty sure you could find like a classroom to do the do in. Like, no joke. I'm like, one of my friends, acquaintances, did that with his girlfriend in like the room we used to like have like club like e-board meetings in, and like this is no joke. We were just like, we're so glad that room got renovated because it felt like we never had a room meeting in that room ever again, and I'm just like, thank God, because that was before I joined e-board, and like he just told us like out of the blue, and I'm like, oh my God, why? And but it's not that hard. Like if a classroom isn't being used, you can just walk in there and do the do. It's not that hard. Like, in all honesty, it's not that hard. And especially since sex lasts an average of like a few minutes, you know, you can do it. Like it's adventurous, and like there's always that, like, you know, that weird excitement of getting caught. I don't know. I'm not into it myself, but I wouldn't mind doing it once, you know, for the fun. Could you stop throwing your pencil, please? How do you even throw a pencil that loudly? He looks very flustered. What an understatement. I sympathize with Muto. I was able to hear Misha's pen break at the sound barrier even through a wall with it and a thick classroom door. It's probably blew his eardrums out and left an imprint on the wall. I'm not throwing it. When I get nervous, I like to spin around, but then I forget that I'm holding it, and it doesn't matter. Either way, there shouldn't be pencils floating around. I get enough of that during regular school hours. I don't need it after hours. Right, sorry. Whatever, just stop throwing or releasing or dropping things, please. Teachers have work too. I know Shizune watching the same scene I am. Muto is yelling at the top of his lungs, and Misha is being Misha. I can hear them reasonably well at the door, but Shizune obviously can't hear anything at all, so I wonder what watching this is like for her. She must know, since she understands well enough to want me to see it too, but I have to wonder if she ever feels like she's missing out on something, having to work that much harder to understand what she's observing. It looks like she's taking supplementary lessons, is she? Yeah. Once again, like, I am somewhat educated in deaf culture, but I don't have any deaf friends or friends who like particularly sign. So this is all speculation, but like most deaf people like slowly learn to lip read. It's not a good form of communication, but like knowing that like the world doesn't particularly cater to them at all. Learning to lip read is how they get by, because like not everyone knows sign. So like they do know how to lip read most of the time, but like most of the time like it's often like a misunderstanding that happens when they try to lip read. It's not a good form of communication. This is just a warning to anyone who like encounters deaf people on the regular. But like lip reading is not a good form of communication. You're better off taking out a piece of paper on your phone and typing it out. Like that's like it's a little slower, but it's honestly the cleanest form of communication. Like gesturing sometimes works too, because sometimes they can understand what you're saying, but it's better off that you just text. It's easy. Something they can read is better than like trying to speak slower to make your lips even harder to read, and gesturing, which makes like everything harder to read. Just take just do what you gotta do. I answered despite knowing the question is completely rhetorical. Misha told me she really wants to be a sign language teacher in the future. If she can get a recommendation, she can study overseas for it. This is why she's working so hard. Her grades were always kind of on the low side. Now I feel guilty. I hadn't even thought about what I'm gonna do yet. Neither have I. The cheerful way she signs it is very unlike her. It's obviously very false. Let's get out of here. I don't want to be seen. It would be a problem if we were caught standing on here like idiots. Where? The student council room? She shakes her head and she slips into the classroom across the hall instead. Great hiding place. You're usually sarcastic lately. With the door closed, it's a good one. Anyway, wasn't it interesting? Yes, but I'm not really surprised. I close the door behind us, prompting Shizune to laugh soundlessly as she slides into a chair. For a second, it depresses me. I want to hear her real laugh. I mean, she does have a voice, but it's like she's just used to not making noise, so I like the background because it's just a mirror flip of like the typical classroom, and at night, cool. I've been looking down on Misha. I didn't think she had a goal at all, but it turns out I was wrong. I made a careless assumption. I thought Misha was as aimless as I was. I was stupid. I lost. Shizune pauses to crack her knuckles and folds her hands over each other and leans forward in her chair. In the abnormal quiet of the building, I can hear Muto yelling at Misha again, even across a hallway and through 2 doors. Shizune's eyes are locked on mine, unblinking behind the gleaming lenses of her glasses, observing my reaction to her words. This is a test. Her opinion of people rarely formed from how they respond to questions. That's how they respond to statements that counts. In hindsight, it makes sense. Shizune's inability to speak, as well as her personality in general, means that anything she says is a big commitment on her part. Everything. For that reason, I sometimes doubt she says anything without a hidden agenda behind it. That sounds remarkably paranoid. Even Kenji would think so. Unfortunately, I'm so caught up on thinking about it that I forgot to give her an answer. She takes it as there not being one. There was an invisible time limit to this test. Shorter than usual. Just as I thought. What do you mean? You don't agree? Hang on. Not really, it's not that. I don't get it. I want to force my will on people. How refreshingly honest. Don't give me that weird look. It's not like that was always my intention. At first, I was just bored. I wanted to see someone's passion for something. Then I could try and beat them. I wanted to test their ability or their convictions. But it was impossible. No one has any passion for anything in this school. They just want to keep it to themselves. I can't believe it. It's too boring that way. I thought there was no way these drab people could be for real. It goes beyond not wanting to make waves. They had to have some interest. They had to be hiding something. I wanted to expose it and reveal it and drag it out. One of the most stressful ways to get people to open up to you and cheer them up is to open up with a story about yourself, and then you ease them into telling you about themselves. It's like give and take, but with an element of manipulation, which makes it interesting. I can't do that. If I attempt to have Misha talk about me, for me, it makes me seem arrogant. The message has to go through a messenger. I'm standing next to Misha, telling her to tell someone about me. You don't have to be able to read sign language to see that. If I were forced to sit through that, I would think I was arrogant too. I was frustrated. I couldn't figure out a way to have a conversation with anyone but Misha. No one would open up to me. I came to the conclusion that I can't make people confide in me or believe in me. I can only hope to create things and show them to people and hope they make them happy. Or I could be more forceful and hope it wouldn't stick to someone. I guess that would be me. Feels vaguely depressing. So guys, I'm just moving the mic a bit more. Like, the pop filter is too close to my face so I can feel my own breath. Somewhere along the line, I think I started to ignore Misha or see her as less of a person or something like that. I took her for granted. I think would be the I took her for granted, I think would be the best way to put it. It was like she was just an extension of myself. I forget that the whole time Misha was there, opening up to me and giving 100% every day. I missed what I was looking for because it was in plain sight. How stupid of me. I really did become arrogant. That's why I've lost. I'm more short-sighted than I was back then. I went in reverse. She's pacing back and forth now, almost brooding, yet it's still filled with so much energy that she can't stop moving. If you got her to hold two wires, I'm sure she's neck could power a light bulb. It's odd that I could have had such a light-hearted thought while she's being so serious. And in spite of that, Misha tells me that I'm her inspiration. Isn't that ridiculous? I'm not the kind of person who can inspire others. Really? You think that about yourself? Like you're a hard worker. You get what you want forcefully, and I think that's pretty inspiring. Not only that, but you're doing this as a deaf mute. Like that's inspiring to me. A person who like literally has a shit ton of things stacked against them in this modern day society, and you're doing it with style. I'd say you're doing all right. Not only that, you have a boyfriend who can hear and learn sign for you. You know, one of the more awesome things you can do for people who are deaf. Like literally, learn sign. That's probably the best thing you can do. Even if a person who inspires you is flawed, it can be acceptable. I've thought about this. Is there even acceptable hypocrisy? For instance, if your hero was an athlete but unsportsmanlike, they could still be respected for their athletic ability, even if they had shortcomings as a person. However, she snaps her fingers briskly. It sounds like a thunderclap in the empty room, and Shizune takes a few seconds to stretch her fingers. Come to think of it, this is the most she's ever signed. Yeah, sign language is actually very, very, like, taxing to your hands. Because, like, me learning to sign, like, the first couple of days of that class, like, I would come back home and, like, or I would, like, go hang out with my friends and be like, guys, my hands hurt. My arms are sore. Why? And it's mostly because, for me, signing is, like, not, like, second nature yet. So, like, when I sign, I'm super tense and I flex everything. But now, like, a good amount, like, I've been like practicing a couple signs so I know them like secondhand. So like, if I know the sign, like I do it like casually. So like, I'm not like super tense, but I know that my sign is like needy. If someone like me has no goals, then it would totally be unacceptable. It'd be the worst kind of hypocrisy, and hypocrites don't deserve responsibility over anything. They can't even manage themselves. Yo, preach, girl. How incredibly pessimistic. It makes me angry to think about it. I would hate myself just a few months ago, but this must be how I look to others. And funny enough, it was Shizune and Misha who convinced me to stop. Without them, I'm sure things would be much different, and not for the better. Lately, I feel as though we pass around our miseries as much as we're supported by each other, but I think this just comes to the territory of having friends and being close to someone. It's true. It's very true. Friends help you grow, believe it or not. Like, you can't be in an echo chamber forever, where people just say yes to you all the time. People who have differing viewpoints and like differing walks of life, more often than not, like open your eyes to things that you never realized you had misconceptions about. I know that's true for my friends. They open my eyes to a lot of shit. You're the leader anyway. This is only because no one else wants to be. But that means you still are, since people are putting their trust in you anyway. In fact, doesn't it make you more important? Either way, you are the leader. You are the inspirational figure or whatever you want to call it. You're responsible for what you tame. I read that in a book somewhere. That's clever. Shizune only seems to show what she's feeling on her face when she wants to, but I don't think she's being sarcastic. Sorry guys, I'm just turning off the alarm on the timer, because if the alarm is on, it's going to come in the recording. I don't want to tame anyone though. Being a leader is being looked up to then. Same thing. I never want to be the leader, it just ends up that way. I don't believe that. All you do is try to grab more and more responsibility. Wait, I wasn't going to tell you that I don't enjoy it. I don't care about being the leader, but I don't mind. I don't care about being the best, but I don't mind. You're right, though, about me wanting responsibility. Of course I want more responsibility. Having responsibility makes me alive. That's why I joined student council. There's no pressure, I just can't stand it. You're a workaholic. Even so, now I'm a leader. I always thought being the leader meant you give orders, but it really is more. It's about having a goal. If you don't have a goal, then it's pointless. People will only be following me for my own enjoyment. It would be selfish. Oh man, isn't that true? I'm gonna keep this going until Shizune's done, but I don't want to. But my timer does say I'm almost done. So it's a strangely moral viewpoint for a person who seems to love one-upping others so much. Resting her chin on her tented fingers, Shizune looks disarmingly childish as she thinks hard about her problem. The expression on her face is a little comical because it's too obvious and therefore very unlike her. It comes to the job. I think you'd have to be a leader or you wouldn't be satisfied with anything else. You'd just get bored. Shizune doesn't reply, but from her annoyed expression, I think I've guessed correctly. I've been thinking that I need a little direction too. Were you told that it's important to contribute to society? What an unusual response. It's so out of nowhere that I don't know how to respond, and it also bothers me, though I don't know why. Possibly because it doesn't seem like something like that would come from her. So I start to think that it isn't Shizune's thought at all. I wonder who told her that. Well, if it was probably her dad, but there is a chance that she came up with it on her own. If so, would it be because she can't hear? Why do you say that? Just because. I don't believe it. I guess that's right, though. I see. I don't know if it's the same for me. I hate it. I think everyone wants a purpose. Looking back, it makes sense that Shizune doesn't have one. Excuse me. All the energy otherwise would have been directed at something. Since she had nothing to channel it towards, Shizune lashed out in all directions, reminding me of a downed power line flailing in its storm, furious and incandescent, but aimless and dangerous, just like Shizune. I want to say that this is the way she feels in the need to turn everything into a competition, but that's probably just how she is. Having a goal to put that energy toward is just the next level. How about this? I could go into business. My family's well connected, so it shouldn't be too hard. That comes off as sounding a little unethical and nepotistic, doesn't it? A little. It won't coast, though. I'll work hard until I'm at the very apex. When I have as much money as possible, so much that it'll be like I won't know what to do with it, I'll move on to the next step. After sitting on it for a while, of course, like a fairy tale dragon. You want to be a philanthropist. Well then, that's actually a pretty decent goal. What were you thinking? Think I want to be a miser? Well, it's true. It's part of the plan. Don't sell me short and stop there, though. Shizune still looks uneasy. Of course, even if she did seem to resolve her problem quickly, no one can get over their anxieties that fast. No one can solve their problems that easy. And the important thing is, it looks as though she has her heart set on trying. It's still hard to tell whether that drive of hers comes from a good or bad place. But she has something to hold on to for now. I can genuinely believe that she does. I'm happy for her. At the same time, I feel a little cold. I'm the one who's behind. Now, I'm the only one without a goal. Okay, so we can end that there. I didn't want to end that on an awkward note because I knew that it was going to wipe as soon as she was done talking. But that's definitely a real, that was the realest real talk this game has given me so far. But the other ones were the other ones were more emotional. This one was realistic. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos from me or from the series, hit the subscribe button. And you're not exiting the Shadyverse. My name is Shades, and I hope you've enjoyed your day in the shade. See you guys later.